look here. Nigel, you're not welcome here. No fascism, look here. Nigel, you're not welcome here. No fascism, look here. Nigel, you're not welcome here. No fascism.
So we're protesting against Nigel Farage. He's the former leader of UKIP. He was the person who famously stood in front of a billboard reminiscent of Nazi-era propaganda during the Brexit campaign, which was basically saying stop the migrant hordes from coming into the UK. So that was the platform he campaigned on personally.
Nigel Farage, he was his people supported leaving the EU in Britain for all sorts of reasons, you know, and I'm no fan of this unelected, technocratic, neoliberal institution that is the European Union. I'm no fan of it at all. But Nigel's job was to emphasise the racist aspect of that. And instead of people voting against, okay, the European Union is the institution of the rich and the ruling class all across Europe, instead of emphasising those reasons for leaving, Nigel was the one who took on the job of basically steering all of that sentiment in a racist direction. And we've got enough of that in this world. We don't need one more far-right Fruit Loop coming to these shores to spruik this sort of stuff. So that's why we're out here protesting.
It's called An Entertaining Evening with Nigel Farage. As we all know, Nigel has worked for 25 years to bring about this sort of reform in the United Kingdom, to lead the United Kingdom out of the European Union. He's had an incredible life. He's basically here to tell some stories, make some jokes, and have a great time. And we've been on the road for 5 or 6 days now, I actually forget. It's been a long time, and it's been an absolutely sensational trip. We've played to sell-out crowds all across the country. It's fine. It's called freedom of speech. They can say what they like. I have absolutely no problem with that. These people are entitled to their opinion. What they're not entitled to do is start throwing rocks, start abusing the people that are coming in, simply because their opinions differ from theirs. You know, everyone inside is going to be particularly safe in the event that violence breaks out.
Are you expecting violence?
I don't know what to expect. So far, I think that from the intelligence that we have, they're pretty harmless groups. They're just here to, spread their message the same way Nigel's going to spread his. So, I don't think there will be violence. I mean, these things generally happen when, two ignorant groups sort of come together and, as I said the last time, it's like watching two children argue. Eventually one runs out of words and thumps the other one. Violence is a consequence of ignorance. The only consequence of free speech is more free speech. I say that a lot. I don't expect them to charge me at all. We've discussed no fees whatsoever, and I would actually think that it's an international disgrace on Australia that the police in Victoria would charge a member of the European Parliament for protection. Would we expect, if Scott Morrison went to the United Kingdom, that the police there would send him a bill? Seriously, let's face facts. This man is a member of the European Parliament. He's one of 700 delegates. He's here to talk. You cannot seriously expect... He should actually be protected by federal police if you want to get serious about that. So... No, I don't expect the bill. And as I said before... I love free speech.
But Mr. Costas, police have told us that they are charging you for this, so...
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that.
If they do charge you, will you be paying it?
Probably not.
Muslims are welcome, racists are not. Muslims are welcome, racists are not.
They are.
Muslims are welcome, racists are not. Muslims are welcome, racists are not.
What do you think of women's rights? Why did you march against women's rights? We saw you marching against women's rights.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no. Fascists are not.
Get the fuck out of here! Hey! Leave him alone.
are not! Refugees are welcome! Racists 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 are not! Refugees are welcome! Refugees are welcome! Refugees are welcome! Refugees are welcome! Racists are not! Refugees are welcome! Racists are not! Refugees are welcome! We can see your Nazi side! 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 Nazis are not welcome here! Nazis are not welcome here! Say it loud! Come hard! We can see your Nazi side! We can see your Nazi side! We can see your Nazi side! Nazi side! We can see your Nazi side! We can see your Nazi side! Nazis are not welcome here! Say loud, say clear! Nazis are not welcome here! Say loud, say clear! Nazis are not welcome here! Say loud, say clear! Nazis are not welcome here! 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 Nazis are not welcome here!
So when we hear the media coverage about this event, when we see mainstream media articles try and make him out as some respectable politician, someone who sits in the European Parliament despite claiming to be against the EU, getting that very handsome salary, we know what he's actually about. We know his links with the far right. We know that he wants to work with people like Steve Bannon to further an extreme right-wing agenda, even in a country like Australia. So I think it's so important that we come out on the streets to air that kind of opposition, actually, because we are not invited onto Sky News very often. We're not invited to give column pieces in The Australian. Shame. When we want to get our views out there in society, we have to come out here on the streets. We have to raise our voices and make them heard.
Been going for an hour. We've had people from the far right walk up. We've had Unshackled come in. We've had Bluebeard. So there's just essentially been a parade of Melbourne fascists as well as local, just people who are trying to get into the venue. The police are obviously being quite heavy-handed and trying to get all of these racists that want to listen to Nigel Farage. So we're all just trying to give them a piece of our mind that if you want to come and
Get back, get back.
Fuck you! Fucking camera! Protect fascists!
protecting fascists, you piece of shit! It's you who is the fucking problem!
Back in your fucking
Back in your fucking
How could you do that? How could you do that?
Shut up!
you piece of shit! Shame! You misogynist! How could you do that, Auntie?
Yeah, the rally's over, and yeah, we're now we're kind of going off, and yeah, there's I think it was good. We got a couple of hundred people out to oppose Nigel Farage, oppose the people who were coming in, and the thing that we saw was that as with all of these events, when the far right comes to town, it brings out the worst in Melbourne. So Andrew Nolsh, the guy who desecrated the memorial to Eurydice Dixon recently. He was a guest here. A local fascist called Bluebeard, he was a guest here. Neil Erickson was also here. So really, these sorts of events really bring out the worst in Melbourne, but it also brings out the best. There was some really good anti-fascist mobilisation out here tonight, so that was important.